Welcome to English phonetics class. Today's class deals with English fricatives. What are fricatives? Fricatives are the sounds which are produced with friction. What is friction? Friction is a kind of hissing sound like zzz. For example, fa, va, sa, za, etc. are fricative sounds. We see that in pronouncing them there occurs friction. So fricatives are called fricatives because there occurs friction or a kind of hissing sound. English is a fricative dominant language. English is a. On the other hand, Bangla is a plosive dominant language. So English speakers from Bangla background should take a special care in learning English fricative consonants. Why? Because most of the English fricatives are not found in Bangla language. Most of the English fricatives are not found in Bangla language. That's why English speakers from Bangla background should take a special care in learning English fricatives. Now, what are the principles of pronouncing or producing a fricative consonant? In producing a fricative consonant, one needs to follow three principles. In producing a fricative consonant or to produce correctly a fricative consonant, one must follow three principles. What are the three principles? The three principles of producing a fricative sound. Number one, light touch by the articulators. Light touch by the articulators. Articulators are the organs which are used to make a speech sound. I told you. Light touch by the articulators. Number two, a small gap. There should be a small gap between the articulators. There should be a small gap. Why there should be a small gap? Because it needs to create a hissing sound in producing a fricative sound. That's why there should be a small gap between the articulators. And last principle of producing a fricative consonant is slow separation of the articulators. We see that these principles are totally opposite to the principles applied or followed or used in plosive sounds. In producing a plosive sound, we know that there occurs a tight touch, fast and tight touch, and compressed ear, number two, and last sudden separation of the articulators, sudden and fast separation of the articulators, but here occurs slow separations, slow separation of the articulators. So we see that these principles are totally opposite to the principle followed in plosive sounds. Now I am showing you the English fricative sounds. English has 9 fricative consonants. English has 9 fricative consonants. They are fa, va, tha, da, sa, za, sha, ja, and ha. These are the 9 fricatives of English language. According to the place of articulation, fa, va, labiodental, that is upper teeth and lower lip, upper teeth and lower lip. Tha, the, dental, that is back of upper teeth, and tip of the tongue, Third pair, SaZa, alveolar ridge, and tip of the tongue, alveolar ridge and tip of the tongue. SaZa are palatal. Of course, in some book you find they are called palato-alveolar, but here I am showing you that they are palatal. In Bangla, palatal means talab, amra boli je talobosho. If we translate it into English, palatal shaw. Palatal, that is hard palate and front of the tongue, and the last is glottal, that is glottis. So these are the 9 fricatives of English language. Now I am showing you how they are pronounced. The first pair, fa, va, labiodental, that is upper teeth and lower lip. Now apply the principles. Light touch by the articulators, using which 2 articulators? The surface of the upper teeth and surface of the lower lip, that the light touch should be made between the surface of the upper teeth and the surface of the lower lip. Light touch, so that there can be a small gap between the articulators. Last, slow separation. Slow separation. So applying these principles, how they are pronounced: fa, va, fa, upper teeth and lower lip, fa, va. And we see that many students, in my experience, I saw that many students from our language background cannot produce them correctly. I saw that they in pronouncing them, they make them plosive, or they apply the principles of plosives in pronouncing them, like fa, va. In this way, many pronounce. This is not correct. Plosive sounds should be pronounced slowly. Here, everything occurs slowly. Slow touch, slow separation. But in the case of plosive, tight touch, tight and fast, fast and tight, and sudden separation, fast and sudden separation. But in the case of fricative sound, the touch occurs slowly and lightly, and the separation occurs also slowly, so that there occurs friction. So fa, fa, va. And remember that fa is not found in Bangla language. The fa of phul, we often replace it with pho, Bangla pho. Actually, Bangla pho is a bilabial plosives, bilabial plosive. Bangla pho is, but huge differences we see between Bangla pho and English fa, because English fa is labiodental and also a fricative. On the other hand, Bangla pha of phul is bilabial, two lips, and it is a plosive sound. So huge differences lie between Bangla pha and English fa. And learners from Chatgaya background or Noakhali background, of course, do not find difficulty in pronouncing this fa sound, because in our Chatgaya language or in Noakhali language, there is labiodental fa sound. But in a standard Bangla, there is no labiodental fa sound. And va, and in pronouncing va sound, many Bengalis pronounce it using two lips, or by making contact between the two lips, and separation occurs in many of them. I saw in my experience that the separation occurs not slowly but fast. The separation occurs very fast. Ba, ba, I saw in many pronounced as ba. This is not correct. The correct pronunciation is va, va, slowly, and the contact should be made between upper teeth and lower lip, and this contact should be a light contact, and separation should be slow separation. So that is about fa and va. SaZa, SaZa are called dental fricatives, dental, because the upper teeth are used in making them. Upper teeth are used, upper teeth and tip of the tongue, and we find the difficulty in pronouncing them because it is very difficult to make friction in pronouncing them by the Bengali, because in our language the tha or da, which we find in Bangla alphabet, they are actually plosive. They are actually plosive. They are pronounced with plosion, fast and tight touch, fast and sudden separation, tha, da, tha, da. But English tha and the are different from Bangla tha and da. Bangla tha and da are plosives. On the other hand, English tha and the are fricatives. In pronouncing them, we should create friction. We should create friction like tha, thank you, then, and then, thank you, thin, thing, etc. But this is difficult for us and also for teachers, difficult. Third pair, sa and za. Sa and za are alveolar fricatives because alveolar ridge is used in producing them. Sa and za, alveolar ridge and tip of the tongue, and we see that we can produce them or we can pronounce them easily. In Bangla language there is a sa sound. Of course, in Bangla language there is a za sound, but ja, jha. Actually, this za is not equivalent to ja, jha. Bangla ja, jha. Bangla ja, jha are plosives, but English za is fricative. Even then we don't find difficulty in pronouncing them. Sa, za, sha, ja, palatal. You need to make a light touch between the front part of the tongue and hard palate. A light contact should be made between them, and you should separate them slowly. So how they pronounced? Sha, sha, ja, ja. Of course, this sound is difficult to pronounce by us because also in Bangla this sound is not found. This is ja. For example, vision, television. We should say television. Ja, ja. A little bit difficult. Usual, etc. Are examples with the sound. And ha is a glottal because glottis. What is glottis? I told you that the glottis is in our throat. There are vocal cords in the throat, and the vacant part of the vocal cords is called glottis. Ha is such a fricative which is made there. That's why ha is called a glottal fricative, and we don't find difficulty in pronouncing this ha sound. Why? Because we in our Bangla language, and even in our Chatgay language or in Noakhali language, this sound is found. Now I'm going to give you some extra information about the sounds. I told you that fa, va are not found in standard Bangla. The pa or po or the ba or bha are plosives. Bangla pa, pa, ba, bha, etc. plosives. And also difference lies in the place of articulation. They are labiodental, but Bangla pa, pa, ba, ba are bilabial. So we see that huge differences lie between Bangla pa, pa, ba, ba and English fa, va. In which spelling we find generally, this doesn't happen always, but generally, if we see F or double F, F or double F, if we see F or double F, F or double F, F or double F, F or double F in English spelling, when we find they should be pronounced as fa. They should be pronounced as fa, F or double F. For example, off or double F, off. And ZH or PH, etc. also pronounced as in many times as fa. For example, enough, tough, T-O-U-Z-H, tough. PH, for example, phone, P-H-O-N-E, phone, or phonetics, fa, ph, phonetics, etc. And V in English spelling, V is pronounced as va, va generally. But remember that fa of F of should be pronounced as va. For example, of, like that. So this is about fa, va in English spelling. Now tha, da. Generally, th pronounced as tha. For example, think or thank, or thank, etc. Th generally pronounced as tha, but th of grammatical words, like than, then, that, here th is pronounced as tha because they are grammatical words. So remember that th is always pronounced as tha, but th of grammatical words are pronounced as dha. That is about tha and dha. Now sa and za, sa, s or double s pronounced as sa, s or double s pronounced as sa. But sometimes c pronounced as sa, for example sees, C-E-A-S-E, sees, or peace, the C of peace is pronounced as sa. And za, z, generally z or double z is pronounced as za. Z or double z is pronounced as za, but differently. Remember that exceptionally sometimes s is pronounced as za when s occurs after a voiced sound. Generally, when s occurs after a voiced sound, s is pronounced as za. For example, D-O-Z-S, dogs, or K-I-D-S, kids, because here ga, da, etc. are voiced sounds. That's why sa, s is pronounced as za. Sha, ja, sha, generally sh pronounced as sha. For example, should, shall, etc. Sometimes s pronounced as sha. For example, sugar, or shio, S-U-R-E, shio. Here s is pronounced as sha. And ja, vision, ja, sometimes s pronounced as ja. For example, vision, television, not television. Rather we should say television. Pleasure, here s is pronounced as ja, pleasure, etc. are example, or usual, etc. And h, ha, when you find h is pronounced as ha. Sometimes wh pronounced as ha. For example, who, 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 here wh pronounced as ha. So this is all about fricatives. That's all. Here is the end of the discussion about fricatives.